I love pirate ships, and I especially love Lego pirate ships. So when I finally got my hands on this set some years ago, I was pretty excited. This particular set actually eluded me for several years. I believe it came out in the early 90s. I want to say 93. I might be wrong about that. I guess I could have looked it up before I started shooting the video, but I didn't. But I managed to pick this up on eBay back in 2004 or 2005, something like that. So I've had this for about over 10 years. And so, like I said, I've always loved pirate ships, and this for a long time was the best one that you could get from Lego. I think when this one released, I'm not even sure how many more pirate ships they did of this size up until they did the Renegade Runner years later, and that one wasn't even as big as this one. So yeah, I'm going to talk about 6286, the Skull's Eye Schooner. And I was so excited when I got this because I got the box in it, and it was in pretty decent shape. It's not in as good a shape now because I've had it in storage for a while. But the great thing about these 90s sets is that they had this flap that opened up so you could see inside, and I've still got all the plastic packaging here on the inside, and then there was a little piece written about the set or the Pirates theme, and some more pictures of what you can do with the set. And I mean, it was really neat, and I just couldn't get this set when it was commercially available because it was just too much money. I think it was $130, $120, something like that. And interestingly enough, on these boxes, I don't think it gives you the number of pieces on the set. I was trying to look for it earlier and I couldn't find it. At least it's not on this box. I know on some of the Lego system sets the piece count is on there, but this one not so much. So let's take a look at this right here. Now, first of all, I just want to put out a disclaimer that I've had this on display for so long, it's pretty dusty. The pieces are dusty. One day if we ever move and I have to disassemble it, I'm gonna have to go over all of these pieces with a toothbrush or something like that. Then some of the white pieces here have oxidized, I believe, and started to turn yellow. So I want to replace some of those as well, just to make it look better. The flag pieces will have to be flattened out. Now, what I usually do for flag pieces, I don't know if you can see it in here, but I keep 2 pieces of cardboard like that, and when I store these things, I put the flag pieces between these 2 pieces of cardboard and tape it together so they're stored flat, and then that way when I get them out the next time, they're flat and they're not wrinkled. Because when you have them up on a set like this, especially this business here where the string weaves in and out of the holes, it gets pretty wrinkled, like especially down here at the bottom because the angle isn't exactly right. So that gets wrinkled. So I like to store them flat so that you can make them flat again. You might be able to use an iron or something. Of course, you have to put something over it, probably. But yeah, I'm just kind of afraid. I'm kind of afraid to do that. I don't want to mess them up. So let's take a look at this. Some of the features, first of all, that stick out to me is we got the treasure chest here that will actually raise and lower with this little crank right here on the string. So you can lower that and then raise it up. It's not working. There it is. Yep, that has to come up. This is probably weak right here. This little pivot joint right here. But yeah, so like find a treasure chest, lower the basket and bring it up like that. The cannons, there's actually 4 cannons here, and they're not on wheels. This one, they actually designed sort of a slide mechanism. So you can slide them back and forth and then turn them around and they can go out to the other side. So if you're broadsiding, somebody, you can have all 4 cannons on them, but I stagger them for display purposes like this. Let's see. The steering wheel actually moves the rudder on the back. They got that mechanism in place. It came with one of these magnetic compasses. Let's see if it still works. Yes, it is pointing north, so that still works. The rowboat on the back, as opposed to the Black Seas Barracuda, which came before this, it's not held by a string. It's actually on a couple of hooks here with these flex pieces. And I actually like that better. That way, if you have to pick it up or something, the boat's not just hanging there and, oh dear, look what I did. Okay, so this is one of the complaints I have about this, is this part here is really weak. The bowsprit, I believe it's called, is pretty loose. If this thing gets bumped on the edge a little bit, it's going to get loose right here, and this is the only place where it's actually connected to the rest of the ship. So that can come loose pretty easy right there, but then again, you can actually put it back on pretty easy. And this is a problem, I think, with most of the pirate ships, even the Metalbeard Sea Cow, which I will review at a later date. It's got an anchor right here. Again, you can raise and lower with this mechanism right here. I'm not sure if that's supposed to be, if I've got that built right. Let's look at the box. Nope, that's right. It's just supposed to, the string's just supposed to be on this other hook right here. There we go. It's supposed to be like that. This is really nice too. So you can actually get into and mess with the cabin a little bit if you release this flap right here, and then that comes out, and that actually does that on both sides, so you can get into the cabin. So that's really neat. And you know, these ships were so neat. You know, when you're, of course, they don't seem as large to me now because, of course, I've grown up. But when I was, you know, young, you know, a child, like, let's see, how old would I have been in '93? I would have been 7. So, you know, 5, 6, 7 years old, when you're not that big, these ships seem really large. And I remember a friend of mine actually had the Black Seas Barracuda, and I remember, you know, sitting on the floor and playing with that ship, and it's like the ship could encompass my entire body, or that's what it looked like anyway. So, I mean, that's really neat. And so you can only imagine what this one would have looked like, because this one's actually a little bit bigger. So yeah, this is one of my favorite pieces of my collection. I don't know if everybody likes this set. It's probably hard to find somebody who doesn't. But I know that they have since come out with, you know, better pirate ships, particularly the Imperial flagship. But I've looked at the Imperial flagship, which is discontinued now. You have to pay probably $500 for it on eBay. But that ship looks very, it's detailed, but there's not a whole lot of, like, it's almost too smooth looking. It's almost too good. You know, this one has some grit to it. And it's just, that's part of the you know, the classic design. You know, in the '90s, they didn't try to smooth everything out, you know, with a bunch of non-studded pieces and things like that. I would say the only drawback to pirate ships is that when you're building them, sometimes they're not a fun build because it's symmetrical. Which basically means you're having to do everything twice. I'm not a huge fan of symmetrical builds, but I make an exception in the case of pirate ships just because I like pirate ships. Let's see, what else can I say about this? Oh, this top comes off right here. I forgot about this. That comes off. I don't know why. So I maybe it's so you can get in there, or maybe it's so, I don't know. I'm not sure why it comes off. Maybe the box explains that. Let's see. Does it say anything about that? Nope, not there. What about on the back of the box, which is upside down? That means I have the front. Well, I can fix this, and this is actually a good opportunity to show you how this one opens. So there were two flaps on the bottom here that came out, and then this whole front actually lifted off. So, oh man, I don't want to pull my mic off here. So yeah, that's how you got into this thing. And look, a single instruction booklet, and it's not even that thick. I mean, you look at this thing, and I've got this in pretty good condition, but I mean, if you look at this, there's just way more things added per step. And actually, one of the ways they condensed this is during the early parts of the build, they actually had 4 steps per page. Well, 2 steps per page. And then, of course, it got then it had to go to 2 once it got bigger. And then once it got even bigger than that, you could only do 1. Yeah, that's where it starts to take up both pages right there. Yeah, and just look at the colors on this. The colors are like way accurate. You know, now they have so many shades of gray and blue and all of that stuff, and it's sometimes in the instruction booklets it's hard for me to tell which color you're actually supposed to use, especially when it comes to black versus dark gray in some of these, because I'm never quite sure. But you know, on these older sets there was no dark gray, there was just gray and black. And this is all, and you know, and these are the original gray pieces. At some point, they changed the color of their gray pieces to have a little bit more blue in them, which in the Lego world, I believe that color is called Blay. So I need to be careful. If I need to get any old gray pieces, I need to make sure they're the right color. So let's get this back on. See, I've actually got this backwards. Let's do it like this. This was so great. The problem is I probably overpaid for it. I think I paid $500 for this, but it was in really good condition. You know, the box was in better condition than this, and the pieces were they were actually really smooth, and they still sort of are. You know, you don't play with these things, but after they sit for a while, they kind of get a little hazy. And then, of course, like I said before, some of the white pieces go yellow. That could be due to, you know, I don't know if they say if that's due to sun exposure, which this hasn't been exposed to much sun. Most of the places I've stored this has been out of sunlight. I want to say all of the places I've stored it, except for maybe when I first got it. There might have been some sunlight there, or it could just be regular oxidation, so I'm not sure. So there you have it, the Skull's Eye Schooner. One of my favorites, and I've got other pirate ships I'll be talking about later on, but I don't want to do too many in a row. But this was my favorite, and I just wanted to make sure I got this in. So yeah, I hope this was a good. I hate ending videos. Can I just say something right now? I absolutely hate ending videos because I don't know how to end them. I don't know whether to say, well, I hope you liked this video, or you know, hope you got something out of this, because I really don't know. I think I'll just say that's all I have to say really about this set, because I can't think of any more. So I will see you guys probably tomorrow for another review. Everyone, have a good day.